Good morning. My name is Amalia Deligiannis, and I am the editor of Plumbing Engineer. This is day 2 of the AHR Expo in Las Vegas, and we are here again for another episode of PHCPPros Live. With me this morning, I have Joe Kalarickal from Watts Heating and Water Solutions. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Gearing up for another full day of fun events. I know that you're here to talk to me a little bit about your Lync brand today, but first, can you tell me a little bit about what you do for Watts?
Sure. Basically, I'm in charge of marketing and product management for the heating and hot water solutions segment of Watts, which is comprised of 3 brands: Airco, which is a well-known boiler leader in the market; PVI, a water heater leader in the market; and we're excited to just launch our new brand, Lync. And this is kind of our coming out for Lync at ASHRAE in Vegas.
Oh, fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Lync brand and how Watts decided to come up with a subsidiary?
Sure. Watts had Airco and PVI as part of our brands, and we saw that there were trends happening in the market and new regulations occurring that really needed something separate from Airco and PVI, and this Lync brand was our way to kind of jump into a new avenue for the industry.
Okay, and so you introduced this Lync brand last year, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and what kind of void does Lync fill in the industry, in your opinion?
Yeah, so actually it's kind of interesting timing because during COVID, it was an interesting time in terms of working, but we were able to launch this brand, which is really taking a look at, like I said, some of these regulations and things happening in the marketplace, such as water quality being a big concern. I mean, we're in Las Vegas right now. Las Vegas has some of the harshest water quality in the country. And water quality from state to state or even city to city varies greatly. So taking a look at that and how it impacts customers, their equipment, fixtures throughout a building was one of the driving things behind Lync. Also, there's a huge focus right now on pathogens, bacteria within hot water systems, and there really isn't anyone that's focused on that, so we thought Lync would be a great way to address some of those issues. And then there's also other disruptors within the marketplace, such as a lack of skilled labor, which is happening in almost every industry right now, and skilled labor shortages are just another one of those things. So by creating skid packages for water heaters and for water quality, we're able to reduce the time on site, so you don't need as much labor to do some of these things. And also, I mean, COVID's made it very apparent that the less time in contact and, the better. So it's just, all these different things are kind of happening at once, and Lync was kind of our answer for a lot of these customers to those questions.
So it's more like an all-in-one device that you can easily just pretty much plop into place and install.
I mean, so the Lync brand has a couple different solutions, is what we call them. So all-in-one device is a good summary of our water heater packages and our water quality packages.
Okay.
Which basically is an pre-engineered package solution where, like you said, a modular design you can just drop into a mechanical room and just connect to it. So you don't have to worry about the piping and how do I connect all these water heaters together. How does the water quality flow between a UV system, which is for bacteria control, a softening system, which is for hard water to reduce hard water, which creates kind of all kinds of issues in a mechanical system. So that's one of our solution sets. Then we also have a couple different products. We came out with the Element, which is a kind of an all-in-one appliance that looks at this waterborne pathogen issue and creates a solution. And then also we've came up with a CO2 heat pump called the Aegis that really answers a lot of the decarbonization issues that we're facing throughout the country right now.
Wow. Okay. And speaking about decarbonization, how are environmental considerations impacting mechanical room designs these days?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, there's local, state, and federal regulations coming down the pipeline impacting different areas of the countries. Very differently. So typically California and New York are kind of leading the way in some of these regulations. And in some cases, they're banning fossil fuel equipment completely in all new building and new construction. So heat pumps are really the best avenue to answer the domestic hot water question without using fossil fuels. But in those heat pump segments, there are a lot of different refrigerants you can use, which is kind of what heat pumps run on. And almost all of them have global warming potentials or ODPs, ozone depleting potentials. Those are kind of measurements of how dangerous those refrigerants are.
Okay.
In the thousands or higher. We came out with a heat pump that runs on a natural refrigerant, carbon dioxide, CO2.
Oh, wow.
And the ODP and GWP is 1 and 0. So you're talking about comparing a 1 and a 0 versus thousands. So really the environmental impact is almost negligible. So we try to keep sustaining and environmentally conscious things. That helps drive some of our development. And we have got fossil fuel products. We try to make our fossil fuel products as efficient as possible, so we're not wasting energy. We try to make sure that the emissions that are coming off of those products are not dangerous. So we've got low NOx equipment in our boilers. They use very high technology that is really high end to make sure that we're running it as efficiently as possible. So we've got all kinds of things that meet these new regulations.
That's fantastic. Are there any, could you talk specifically about the regulations that are impacting mechanical room design right now?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned the Element by Lync. There are new implications coming down from the CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, that administers healthcare coverage for the elderly. And there's a joint commission which provides hospital accreditation and licenses that are mandating that these healthcare facilities basically figure out an answer to how do you make sure that you're not going to have these pathogens growing in your systems. So we took a look at this, and we're in kind of an interesting position. Watts has 275 years of experience in the plumbing industry. There's no one else that touches more water in a building than Watts products, because you're talking about valves, backflow prevention, mixing valves, water quality. So we were able to leverage all these different areas and expertise to create the Element, which is that appliance that kind of answers the question of how do I make sure that my hot water is going to be safe for the people in my building. So healthcare, specifically nursing homes, things like that, where you have a very fragile population, elderly, sick people, that if there was a Legionella outbreak, that could really cause some harm to people. So we took a look at that, and we wanted to create an answer, and this appliance, the Element, really makes sure that you're not going to have those Legionella outbreaks, and you have a way of actually cleansing your entire system through the Element, and also record keeping. Currently, record keeping in those buildings, there's someone with a clipboard walking around taking temperatures, writing it on a clipboard. I don't know if you've seen how that system works in public bathrooms, but sometimes...
Yeah, you see the clipboard behind the bathroom door.
Totally clean, and then you look in the bathroom, not so much.
Exactly.
So we wanted to take that out. We automated it. We put controls in place so that when we are taking, temperature, things like that, it's all automated. It can be sent to the cloud. You can see what's going on real time.
Great.
And you just eliminate all that uncertainty.
So how do people access that information from the cloud? Is there an account that you set up, or is there an app, or
all the above. So
okay, great.
You can do it on the web, you can do it through an app, and basically you can see all that information at your fingertips as a customer. So, I mean, what we're really doing is essentially providing them peace of mind. And if you have someone in one of these facilities, you want to make sure that your loved one is being taken care of and is in a place where you're not going to have these things. And I mean, if you Google Legionella outbreaks, it's the trend is it's going up. So they're trying to get in front of it, and we decided we're a market leader, we're a thought leader. We're going to come up with something that is going to be the best practice to address these concerns.
Okay, so using these types of platforms, was that motivated by the pandemic, or was that something in process before the pandemic began?
It's a good question. It was actually in process before the pandemic began, but I mean, I think, I'm in charge of marketing and product development. I'm very proud of our team that during a pandemic, when other companies, other manufacturers may have, kind of been hedging their bets, let's take back. I mean, we doubled down on R&D. We invested more. We came up with a we didn't come up with a new product. We came up with a new brand with 30 plus products, all released last year. So,
Mhm.
I mean, this is a really exciting show for us because we're able to talk about this for the first time in person with
Mhm.
people, customers. So, I mean, it's been great.
Oh, fantastic. Um, s- Technology and boiler design in general.
Yep.
How has technology improved boiler design and what has impacted, what has been the impetus for that?
Yeah, so technology is always improving and evolving, and we like to think of ourselves as always kind of leading
Mm-hmm.
in terms of technology design. So, the Airco brand, for example, we've got our Benchmark Platinum, which is kind of our premier boiler line product.
Mm-hmm.
It's got something that we call O2 trim, air
Mm-hmm.
trim, which basically looks at the levels of oxygen and it modulates the boiler to maximize the efficiency. So, a lot of times, uh, if you want to compare it to like a car, if you don't take care of your car,
Mm-hmm.
your mileage, your miles per gallon, you're not getting the full, benefit of your car.
Okay.
This is kind of doing that, but on its own. So we're looking at all these different parameters. We're modulating the O2 levels to make sure that our equipment's going to maximize efficiency. We
Fantastic.
came out with an edge controller, and that's on our boiler line that really allows remote monitoring, but it takes it a step further to predictive maintenance, which almost like your car,
Mm-hmm.
cars these days, it doesn't say, your car's going to break. It tells you, change your
Warning.
oil.
Yes.
It says, make sure that you check your tires. It does that beforehand. That's kind of the same kind of technology or concept that is in our Benchmark Platinum line. And recently we launched our Smart Plate EV,
Mm-hmm.
which is an indirect water heater, which basically takes boiler water and you put it through a heat exchanger and you can use that for your showers, your sinks throughout a building. And
Wow.
this is a high pressure Smart Plate heat exchanger, which has 4.5 million BTUs, which is a huge amount of energy
Mm-hmm.
in a very compact footprint. 2 feet by 30 inches, basically. You got 4.5 million BTUs, which can supply a hospital,
That's fantastic.
a school, things like that. So the combination of the two, they've both got these edge controllers that communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're maximizing the efficiency. You can install our Smart Plate outdoors because mechanical rooms, it's kind of an area of a building that's not generating any revenue for a customer.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to maximize your revenue. So the smaller you can make things,
Mm-hmm.
the better for your facility. So all of our equipment is designed specifically to fit through a standard door. So you don't have to, make holes in walls. You don't have to use
Okay.
cranes and things like that to get them in. So the Smart Plate, the Benchmark, you can put a small package system that'll supply your whole, and you can really generate as much revenue as possible from your floor space.
That's wonderful. Let's switch back to your water heater design and technology related to that. How has that been improved?
So I've talked about Lync, I've talked about Airco, PVI, which is our water heater
Mm-hmm.
company, basically, or brand. We're launching at ASHRAE. We launched it on Monday. Our brand new Centurion water heater, which is a dynamic water heater. Now you're talking about 2 million BTUs of gas-fired water heating in a very compact footprint. I mean, you're talking about almost 65% less than
Mm-hmm.
what's out there today. And you can put them side by side, so you can really make a small footprint for your water heater plant. The Centurion also has the top technology and controls. So traditionally, water heaters are kind of neglected in the industry in terms of having the most up-to-date technology.
Mm-hmm.
We double down on everything that the boilers have in terms of top controls and things like that. Our water heaters have. So the PVI water heater has this edge controller, which again maximizes efficiency. It also has that O2 trim feature, so it's
Mm-hmm.
maximizing levels of efficiency based on oxygen levels in the environment. Kind of again, to use the car analogy, you drive your car from New York to Arizona, you don't have to stop and have it adjusted for different oxygen levels because it's a
Mm-hmm.
combustion appliance. This does the same thing. It just automatically adjusts the equipment to the different oxygen levels.
Wow. So you've talked a lot about what you've introduced and what is at the show right now. What can our readers and viewers expect from Lincoln Watts overall in 2022?
So our heating and hot water solutions portfolio of Airco, PVI, Lync, our mission is to just keep pushing the technology. We're leading. We think of ourselves as thought leaders, market leaders. So our mission is to invest in the future, provide clients with energy-saving equipment, reliable equipment, smart and connected equipment that they can monitor to make their lives easier and to give them peace of mind. So we're always striving to be kind of the leader in that, and we're very excited about what we've released here at ASHRAE in Las Vegas.
Fantastic. So if anyone would like to come and learn more about Lync and Watts in general here at the show or out in the world, how can they go about doing that? Where should they go?
So
or who should they talk
our
to?
booth at ASHRAE, it's N9926, thank you, which is in the other hall. But please come by. We've got a nice setup. A lot of the products that I just talked about is there, so you can see it in person. We've got our product managers here. We've got our salespeople here. So everyone's eager to talk to people about what's new and exciting coming down the pipeline. And if you're not here, airco.com for Airco, PVI.com for PVI, and Lync by Watts for the Lync brand.
Well, thank you so much for taking 15, 20 minutes of your time and speaking with the world and myself today. My name again is Amalia, and we are going to take a short break before we go to our next episode of PHCPPros Live. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.